Hello, everyone. It's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with.
Asleep.
And today we are going to be doing Two Guys Talking, episode 4. That's right, it's the fourth episode of the podcast series where we talk on the phone and we just kind of talk about whatever. I have a few topics I like to talk about today, continuing our past conversations about the DC multiverse and continuity and how crazy that is. But real quick, I just want to ask Ryan, do you happen to have anything that you want to start the show off with, or do you just want me to jump right into everything?
Um, so hopefully we'll have better views because the video.
Um,
hmm
I know what he's talking about. So the first video has a thumbnail. Well, had a thumbnail. I kind of changed the thumbnail for all the videos. But the first video had a thumbnail where you could actually see Ryan, and that one did really well. It got like 24 views. And then the other two videos, they just had like a black screen that just said that Ryan was like in a call. And I think people couldn't recognize what it was, so I think it didn't get like a lot of attention. So now I have like a new thumbnail format where it shows like a number to show like what episode it is, and it says like two guys talking at the top. The only weird part about the thumbnail is Ryan's not in those thumbnails because I couldn't get a picture of me next to Ryan that's like modern interpretations of Ryan and I.
Why would you want me in a photo anyway? Sounds like a bad idea.
How's it a bad idea? The video that did have you in the thumbnail did really well.
Mm-mm.
So let's jump right in and start talking about like some DC stuff. So, one thing that I was thinking about, there are some characters in DC Comics that can manipulate reality, right? Like the Spectre or like the Presence and stuff like that, whose powers kind of let them do things that normal people wouldn't be able to do. But depending on who you are, the way that you can manipulate reality is like different. Like the Spectre has the power of like the Presence, which is like the equivalent of like Christian God in the DC universe. So he's using like divine power to manipulate reality. But then you have like the genies of the DC universe, which sometimes are like fifth dimensional imps. So they're from the world of imagination. So when they enter our world, they can treat it the way that we treat the imaginary world, and they can manipulate reality. But then sometimes genies are like offspring of like the gods or whatever. So then their power is like a divine thing. But then you have people like Dr. Fate who are like, well, I'm actually using like magic to manipulate reality. Or like Zatanna, who also will use magic to like do like crazy stuff. But then you have like the outliers. The people who like don't have powers that let them manipulate reality directly. It's more like it's a consequence of a power that normally shouldn't manipulate reality. Like Superboy Prime is like I can punch so hard, I just change continuity. And the explanation is that I'm just like so strong that I just like fuck up the timeline kind of thing. Or like the apex predators of the multiverse, how they can kill characters who come from a world that have cartoon physics. So technically, those characters shouldn't die. Like if you hit them, they should like see stars fly around their head, and they should be dizzy and have like a big like lump, like you would see in like a Toon Disney cartoon. Well, not a Toon Disney cartoon. I mean, I guess so. I associate that more with Looney Tunes. Anyways, that's what should happen. But if an apex predator hits like a cartoon physics person, they can just like blow their head off. Like they're hitting them so hard, it just ignores cartoon physics. I think that's like the scary level of power in the DC universe. Like fighting someone who can manipulate reality and their power is to manipulate reality, I think isn't as terrifying as fighting someone who's so strong. Manipulating reality isn't necessarily like the goal of what they're trying to do. It's just something that could happen. It's kind of like how Batman tries to prepare to like fight people, and he has certain expectations of what they can do. So like if the Batman was to fight the Spectre, I'm sure that he would have some weird like magical assistance to help him because he knows that when he fights the Spectre's probably going to do some magic stuff. But when you fight someone like Superboy Prime, I just think is too much of a wild card. Like you don't know what'll happen if he just like hits you. Like for one, you'll probably die because he's so like freakishly strong. But also, if he hits you, you could like never have been born. Like as a consequence, it could just change your continuity and you just never existed. You know? But he doesn't have to hit you. He can hit anything because he's just so strong. So I think stuff like that is really insane. What are your thoughts on that? Would you agree that those people are probably the scariest to fight? Or would you be like, nah, like someone who just straight up manipulates reality would be scarier? Because they could just be like, you don't exist. And they do that on purpose. Where Superboy Prime could do it and it would just be like on accident or something.
I mean, I guess the more chaotic element and unpredictability would be more dangerous, maybe. You know, like even if you could like mind control some sort of like reality warper guy, if you had to like mind control like a Superboy Prime with his punching, would you even be able to like factor in like what he's going to do with the punch?
That's a very legitimate point. Like, I do think you just wouldn't really be able to. Because even Superboy Prime doesn't know what he's going to do with the punch, you know?
Hmm.
Um, so Legion of Superheroes. I have a few things on my mind about like that cartoon specifically. Because there's only one Legion of Superheroes cartoon as far as I'm aware. Well, animated series. They of course appeared in Justice League and the Fatal Five and other stuff like that. But in the just not the Justice League, I got mixed up. In the Legion of Superheroes animated series, they have this character called Kellex, who's like a Superman clone who's immune to kryptonite. He has like kryptonite in his DNA, but he can also shoot kryptonite radiation, and he can create like these energy shields that are shaped like the Superman S that he can use to like defend himself. And then he also, I'm sorry, Ryan. What you're currently doing, uh, Ryan's on the camera and he's like slow motion fucking like stroking through his hair and stuff, and then he's like he did like the hair whip or whatever. What are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm not doing anything. This is what I do.
Oh, Ryan went full blackout mode. It's just a black screen.
That's because you can't see me. Because I turn the light off.
Does your computer shine no light? How are you like actually just invisible?
Um,
The world.
well, like I have all brightness up.
Yeah, I
I
can't
guess.
see anything. You've like merged into the darkness better than I do. Smile or something. Teeth are normally like a giveaway. Well, now you just have a light on. Okay. I can see you. There's more light in the camera than like you though, because of the position.
Trying to get them lens flares.
You do have lens flare. You're trying to be like J.J. Abrams.
No,
Lens flare.
he's not the first to do that.
I know he's not the first to do that. It's like a trope of a lot of his movies, though. I mean, I'm not
Which
sure if that counts as a trope as much as it's just like a.
which of his movies do you think it's a trope of?
Yeah, I guess that I would say it probably isn't like a trope. It's just a thing that he does a lot. Like a lot of his movies have like more lens flare
Which of his movies?
than other movies. Like the Star Trek films and even like the Star Wars movie. If you look at him, he likes to use lens flare in a lot of his shots.
Star Wars one have it. I mean, definitely for the Star Trek ones, but I'm not sure if I remember it a lot from Star Wars.
I'd have to relook at The Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker. I'd forgotten what the name of that one was. Um, oh, but the Legion of Superheroes thing. The reason why I brought up Kellex is because I think he's like a really powerful version of like Superman. Because not only is he like a young Superman, so he would be kind of in his physical prime, but he's also immune to kryptonite, which is one of Superman's like bigger weaknesses. But he also knows a little bit of magic, but he can only use it on like a planet that exists in the Legion of Superheroes universe, where essentially anyone who's on that planet can use magic. But the spell that he knows is like a counter spell that he can essentially use to counter any other magic spell. So if you have like Kellex on the magic planet fighting like any other like Superman, or really just fighting anybody, I feel like it would be really hard to beat him. Because it's already been established that Kryptonians in their physical prime are just kind of more powerful than like older Kryptonians. Like it's kind of like how like a young adult in their physical prime more often than not can like fight someone who's just like older than them because the older person just has like more problems and like complications when like trying to fight them. Um
Like,
oh, it looked like you froze. What'd you say? I mean,
what kind of problems?
what kind of problems? I mean, that's a good question because maybe it's like your reflexes are sharper when you're younger or something. I've heard people bring it up in comics where they're like Supergirl is like in her prime, but like
Yeah,
super
but what does that mean?
older. Like what is it?
Someone in their prime can just be weaker than someone else anyway.
That's true. Um, I mean, part of it comes from the fact that Kryptonian strength, when it comes to like super strength, seems to be heavily derived from like how much solar radiation you've absorbed. You know what I mean? Like Superman,
Mhm.
as far as I can tell, isn't like hitting the gym. He's not like lifting weights and stuff in order to become stronger. It's like the more solar radiation he absorbs, the more powerful he becomes.
Like an all-star Superman.
Right. So you have this thing where if I'm in my like physical prime and I've absorbed more solar radiation than you and we're like Kryptonians and you're like an older Kryptonian, I just kind of have an advantage. Like it's not like Superman can be like, well, you absorb more solar radiation, but I hit the gym 7 days a week and I just have like bigger muscle because that's just not how the strength's determined. Like Supergirl has like little to no muscle mass, but she's like canonically like stronger than Superman. And Superman's like a big dude.
Canonically. Mm.
You're like, which Superman, which Supergirl? Everything
Yeah.
canon, how do you know? That's fair. That's fair, Ryan. Um, but yeah, I just think Kellex is like a force to be reckoned with. Like Superboy Prime, I think is way stronger. My laptop fell asleep. There we go. Superboy Prime, I do think is probably way stronger than Kellex is. But when trying to determine who's like the next strongest like Superman character, I guess it wouldn't be Kellex either. Have I ever talked to you about Superman 1 million before, Ryan?
Maybe not. I don't know.
Okay, Superman 1 million is a version of Superman that, of course, exists somewhere in the multiverse because they all exist somewhere in the multiverse. Though technically, I guess he's in the future, so it's more of like a hyper time thing.
Is he like the golden one?
Yeah, he's the golden one. He
Oh,
spent,
I think I've seen him before.
yeah, he's essentially absorbed so much solar radiation that he has like god powers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which to me doesn't make a lot of sense. Like it's
He was an all-star Superman.
wait, what do you mean he was an all-star Superman?
He was there.
What? I
A bunch of Superman showed up.
oh,
Yeah, like
see,
old Superman from the future where he's got like he's like a hundreds of years in the future. He's got like a mummy, like bandaged Superman. You
mm,
have like Superman because like they come with like the Legion of Super, so they do like a time travel thing,
mm.
and so then Superman meets like Superman, but like the golden one is there too
Oh wow.
for like a little bit.
I need to
Like
do all-star Superman.
can show me that.
But that's dope. I'm glad that you already have like a familiarity
Your mom
with Superman.
dope. Ah.
Um, what do you think of the idea that Superman can just absorb so much radiation that he becomes like a reality manipulator? Because I don't really see how that makes sense. Like, how does that?
You see. Superman can get thick from the light. So if there's more light, he can just get thicker until he's like hella thick.
So in the New 52, uh, there's a time where Superman falls into one of the vats of apocalypse, and they're like, the vat of apocalypse is like the equivalent of like 10,000 suns or something. And he comes out, and his entire body glows white because he's just radiating so much energy. And they call him the god of strength. And it's like a super strong version of like Superman. And with this whole like god of strength angle that they have going on, um, you essentially like you'd think if he can absorb enough solar radiation to become godlike, you think it would be the god of strength thing. Like you think it would just be that he would be really, really just physically strong. But Superman's never like done like low level reality manipulation. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he has a reality manipulation ability that's being increased by exposure to sunlight. Instead, it's just that like he didn't have reality manipulation, and then at a certain point he absorbs so much radiation that he just does have reality manipulation. You know what I mean? Like isn't that kind of weird?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
what are your thoughts on that?
Maybe he should get more sunlight.
And go like beyond like the 1 million form or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that would be interesting to see if there like is like a step beyond.
He can reality manipulate stuff at the 1 million form. Can't he just like spawn suns and like power up even more?
You would think so. Like you think once you can manipulate reality, like reality manipulation is stronger than the source of his.
You can just create your own nuclear fusion and power up that way.
Yeah, like just make it where you can generate your own like yellow sun radiation or blue sun radiation, which is just better. It's kind of weird that he does the Superman 1 million thing in a yellow sun because a blue sun not only makes him stronger than a yellow sun, it also gives him an additional power. Have I told you about Superman vision before?
Yeah, he can like X-ray stuff.
No, 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 no. Superman vision is like he could look at you.
Yeah, like lasers, like pew, pew, pew.
Well,
Heat,
it's more,
like
it's kind of like a laser, but if he shot it at you, Ryan, you would temporarily gain the powers of Superman.
oh, so it's like platinum kryptonite, but like a beam.
Well, platinum kryptonite is like if you touch it, you get Superman powers forever and there are no drawbacks. Where Superman vision is like you temporarily get Superman powers and your body can't handle it because like normal mortals are not supposed to be as strong as Superman. So it kind of kills you afterwards.
So platinum kryptonite is just hella better, right?
It is just hella better. But Superman Vision is cool if you use it on someone who's already like kinda strong. Because it's the idea that if you use it on like a normal person, they couldn't handle it. But
Or like if you use it on Parasite, he like blows up.
I mean, oh, well, I don't think Parasite would blow up. I think it might be possible that if you're like already strong, you could do it and survive, is what I'm saying. And I think Parasite is already kind of strong. Like he always is absorbing power from
Have
people.
you seen that Superman movie?
In this, wait, did you spoil the Superman movie? In the Superman movie,
No,
Parasite absorb too much power and blow up? Is that what you're saying?
no.
So a lot of I don't think I've ever seen a story like that where Parasite like absorbed too much, but I guess that's what happens in that movie. So that movie's
How come you haven't seen that movie?
I just haven't watched the movie yet. But
Watch the movie.
Sure. Now that I know what happens,
I didn't
I have
say that's
a
what
better understanding.
happened.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it sounds like that version of Parasite's kind of a little bitch. Because Parasite normally,
Not really. He's like beating the shit up Superman.
yeah, but Parasite's like a villain who can fight like the Justice League. Like I've seen Justice League stories where Parasite's fighting like all of them. You know?
Yeah, Parasite could do that if they were all there. He'd beat them up too. He has plenty to go around.
I I guess I don't understand the concept of Parasite being like overtapped. Because the last Parasite story that I read was like a comic where Superman and Parasite fought.
Is he broken All Star Superman?
Parasite's an All Star Super. I haven't read All Star Superman, so I don't know who all is in it.
Ah,
Um, I guess I'm not surprised that he would blow up, because that is a plot thing that I've seen before, where there's like a Dragon Ball movie where they fight Metal Cooler, and Metal Cooler's like, I'm siphoning all your power. And then essentially what they do is they just keep powering up. And he's like, no, stop, stop, no, don't keep going. Ah, ah, and he like blows up. So it sounds like they did the same thing for Parasite, but I don't know. That to me is still like a lame Parasite. I think my favorite version of Parasite.
that's not what they did.
Okay. Ryan's like, I didn't spoil anything. That's not what happened. As far as you know, you haven't seen it.
Because like in All Star Superman, Superman does get like really irradiated with solar energy, so he's like dying and stuff. And so he like goes to prison to talk to Lex Luthor, but then like they're like wheeling in Parasite. They're like, yeah, yeah, Parasite's also here. And then Parasite starts getting really swole, just like reacting to Superman being in there. Okay, but he's like Clark Kent. So they're all
Right.
like, oh, what's happening? Parasite's just going, ah, I know he's killing people, ah. And Lex Luthor's just like, this is dumb. He's trying to like be real casual about it. And Clark Kent's like still doing the interview. And like Lex Luthor's like doing a jailbreak or something because he's like, I can use this time. I like dug a tunnel out in the bottom of the room with a bunch of stuff, and it's like a boat underneath, ready to take him away, stuff like that. And so Clark's gotta kind of like keep avoiding Parasite while maintaining the interview.
I think that's
He's like
animated
Clark,
movie.
walk and
Right.
talk while I do this jailbreak, and you can keep doing your interview.
Yeah. Because that sounds familiar. I'm not sure if
so,
in the
like,
animated movie
so like
it's Parasite or
Superman is just
Driver.
like turning his head once like Lex Luthor turns a corner, and he's like shooting like a laser vision or like a super breath on people and stuff.
Right. I mean, Superman's been shown to be so fast. It doesn't really make sense whenever they do stories that are like Superman's like Clark Kent's one place, so Superman can't be in another. Because it's like I'm pretty sure he's done, excuse me, stuff where he literally is in two places at once. Because he can just move that quickly, you know?
Maybe, but if he can, shouldn't like the Flash be able to do something like that? Like
Flash
if
can do stuff
Superman
like
can do
that.
like one shadow clone, the Flash should be able to do a whole lot of shadow clone.
He can. The Flash can do stuff like that. Just straight up.
It's like that Bleach thing, or it's like the shadow
Oh,
clone.
no, stop.
That's pretty
It's
much what we're talking.
no, it's not the same. Because the Bleach thing that he's talking about, they call it like speed clones. And it's like an after image, but it can bleed. So it's not even like
Yeah, it's like an after image, but it's actually a clone, don't you know?
right. So
Like it functions like a clone, but it's also because after image, and I'm moving so fast.
right. So it's a thing where in any other like anime, if you punch an after image, your fist just kind of goes through it and it fades away because it's just like an illusion due to like how fast the other.
Even if it was Naruto, it'd just be like, nah, you just hit a clone. Haha, got him.
Right, but for Naruto, it's like the clone's like made a chakra. Like it's not like you move so fast you made a clone. It's just that like you did a technique that makes a clone like appear or whatever. But in
Yeah, but they're all like substituting out the clones.
True. Like it is a thing where they would have to have snuck away at some point and you not noticed, like, and they made a clone kind of thing to take their place. So it is kind of a speed thing still with them, but it's not an
In Naruto Mu,
bleach thing.
the is it the second Tsuchikage? He has a technique where he doesn't do a clone normally. He does like a division thing. Like he divides his body into two like beings. So he did it when they tried to like because this is like uh the what was this the name of the jutsu, the thing where you bring people back to life from like the dead, the zombie technique thing.
Uh,
Yeah.
Sue? No, is it? What is it?
Yeah, I can't remember it's Impure World Resurrection is
Okay.
the translated name.
What is the Zetsu thing that I thought about? Am I thinking about like I started looking it up on the wiki. Keep going. Like I'm still with you.
Okay, all right. So he has ability where he can like essentially it's like if one divided the but he's like half as strong when he does it. Like he's like in a weakened state, right?
Okay.
So like he was able to do that when someone was attacking him. And so when they tried to seal him, they did, but like they only sealed like half of it. So he was able to like, you know, hide his other body or whatever. So they thought they got him, but they didn't.
That reminds me of Dragon Ball technique, actually. Also, I think white Zetsus might be a thing in
I'm not talking about White Zetsu.
Boruto, because I thought white
He
were
is.
like zombie
They do run
things.
into a White Zetsu in Boruto, the anime.
Are they like zombie things?
They're not zombie. They're like, I mean, they kind of look like they're like big mutant plant people. They're essentially like
Oh,
plant people. Like they're all white and like stuff, and maybe they're good, but they're like plants
hmm, okay.
or some kind of weird plant thing. Um, they
There's
come
a
from the Gedo Mazo statue, and Obito like spawns a whole army of them, and then he uses Yamato with his Hashirama cells and such to increase their power. So then they all become like thick, muscly, like spikier versions of White Zetsu normally.
like
And that's
super Zetsus.
yeah. And so there's in the anime, there's an episode where they run into a big old like mutanty looking White Zetsu that's just kind of hanging out in a cave or something, eating people.
Hmm. I think I remember
So,
something like that.
so Konohamaru and guys are trying to like kill it.
I think I saw that. I think that's what I missed
Yeah.
for being like a zombie thing.
I think he's more like I think it's like a couple Zetsus had like merged together to form some like big like multi-headed Zetsu is the thing that they were killing.
I think I remember
That's
that.
not what they normally like look like.
Okay,
Honestly.
that's fair. I'm looking at the special attack dictionary for Dragon Ball, like for one of their guidebooks, and they have this move called division attack. And the concept behind that is that you make clones of yourself, but you make it look like you don't actually have clones. You make it look like they're after images. So you move really fast and you make your opponent think that they're just seeing after images, but then they actually
So it's
are.
like hiding a clone in an after image.
Yeah, like that's the concept behind division attack. Um,
That's that's cool, I guess.
yeah, I think that is kind of different. Um, there's another move called doppelganger where you essentially just clone normally. So it's like division attack, but you don't hide anything, I guess. I could
Shadow Clone.
there was something like what you described in Dragon Ball, but I haven't found it yet. where you like split yourself up, but it like divides your power when you do it. Oh,
I mean, that's
I found
kind
it.
of what shadow clones are already supposed to be, sort of thing. But like, it's like
It's
the
not
move
chakra, it's like his
technique
body, right?
that, but then like it's also like even more seamless and like quick. The division thing, like
Like it's
there's
not
no
like it
time.
poofs, it like directly
Yeah, it's
splits
just
off.
like you just like slide a copy out of your original body.
Why is it naked?
And I think it's because like when you hit like a shadow clone, it'll like go poof and stuff, right?
Right.
Uh, but this split division body isn't like that. So when they hit him with a Rasengan, he is like got a big hole in him, and then they sealed him. Like they thought it was a real him because it is. And then he was actually trying to tell them, no, don't think you got me. Like, but then Gara covered him with sand and they sealed him.
Interesting. Why would you want to give that away?
What? Oh, I remember the name of the thing. It's Ito Tensei is the name of the zombie thing. Because uh so in the Ito Tensei has like two kind of things you can do. Like when you revive someone, they're actually like in control of their body and they can just talk to you like normal, right? But what Orochimaru and Kabuto did is
To
they
the
had these special
Hokages, they did
mind
like the mind
control
control
field
thing.
pad, so they could, yeah, so they could like force someone to fight. But there's like two ways you can like have it active, right? Like you can make someone fight, and then but then they can still like be conscious, like you can still talk to them, so they'd be like, I can't move, or like I can't stop myself, so like their bodies are on like auto fight, so they'll like automatically counter the jutsus and things, but you can still like talk to them and they can like tell you like, oh no, I'm gonna hit you, like this is how you should stop me, kind of thing. And then Kabuto or whoever can like turn that off, and so now they're like fully like silent, not talking, mind control, and then they'll like just keep death machining you or whatever.
That seems like
Uh,
the best thing to do when you have someone who's like friends with the person you want them to fight.
right.
Right.
It can be. Otherwise, like they can be like talking to you, be like, no, don't fight me,
They could
or like
have like
yeah,
a plan
you can
almost.
have a conversation and stuff. But the thing about the first thing is that sometimes, like if you talk, they can actually undo the jutsu by like becoming like purifying their soul or something like that. Like if they like have no regrets, they can actually like go to the afterlife. Like they can be like you can like talk to them essentially out of like fighting anymore,
Being,
and then they
yeah.
can like undo the jutsu will just break down. But like if you do the full mind control, then you can't do that to the
The
people.
full
So a
mind
couple
control just
people
sounds like the best one.
had that happen to them, where like they just kind of like without getting sealed or whatever, like they just pass on again to the afterlife. Um, like Sasori did that when Kankuro was talking to him about like the legacy of his puppets and all kinds of stuff like that.
Mm.
That happens a couple times. But Kabuto usually tried to shut that down later, so that would stop happening.
Fair. That sounds
Um,
like the natural response to being like, oh, they figured it out. They figured out how to get around it. Hmm.
but it also means that you can have some interesting like dialogue between some people who are like dead and such.
Yeah, during like a fight scene, so you get like fight position, which is pretty dope. That's
You can have some like closure and such on various characters. Uh,
character development fights. Best of both worlds. Um, there's a Dragon Ball move that's called the Fist of Four Bodies that not tension, that Tien can do. I tried to say his full name, but no one ever calls Tien by his full name anyways. Tien can like split up his body or whatever. But when he splits up his body, it divides his power between like the individuals, and he has
That's how like shadow clones work.
right.
Like your
Like this,
chakra gets divided and
I
such.
finally found the like equivalent thing in like Dragon Ball because I knew there was something like that. Apparently, Tien has multiple moves where he'll split specific parts of his body. Like he's like, I don't have to split all of me. Like I can be like, I have like four arms or something.
Hmm.
They're like weaker because it's like each arm is at half power, kind of thing. Um, so I think that's fascinating. I don't really see Tien very often in like modern Dragon Ball. So that's something.
So he can have even more eyeballs. I can split the eyeball I already have, and it has half the vision.
I'm not sure how good that would be. I guess if
Four
you split it
eyes.
and put it on his like the back of his head or something, maybe that would be useful.
My blind spot.
Not any.
Like Ned, is I can put an eye there,
Mhm.
and then I have no blind spot.
One of the moves in the special attack dictionary is called silent fart.
Hmm.
It's a great technique that feeds the opponent a champion silent fart, stinky enough for anyone to despise. It's the strongest, foul smelling technique, which,
Oh, that's the thing Naruto used on Kiba.
oh, I do remember that. But is it the strongest foul smelling technique?
Yeah,
Who had
fucked
the
up
more
Kiba pretty
powerful
well.
fart? Actually, I someone could make a tier list of like superpowered farts. Johnny Test has like a fire fart that he does when he's Johnny X, like his superhero form. Then you have this, which is the strongest foul smelling technique. So maybe it's the strongest like odor based like fart power. I don't know. I don't know how they're scaling that, like the strongest smell. But I don't know. That seems like a dumb tier list, but I could see somebody doing it. I wonder if someone's already done it. I could see that. Oh, it's is it called the split body arts? What is the split body arts? An attack that takes advantage of the fact that he is part of a set of quintuplets. Oh, so they're just not clones. The split body arts is used by Sergeant Major Murasaki, and he's like a ninja. So he makes it seem like he has clones. Oh, the call fail. I just didn't realize I wasn't talking to anybody. Got me. I wonder how long that's been. Ask him, I guess, when it reconnects. Rip. Yo, Ryan, because your screen's already so dark, when the call disconnected, I didn't realize that you weren't there for like a hot minute. I just thought you weren't saying anything. What was the last thing that you heard?
I don't know. You're talking about like a fart tier list?
Oh, okay. So after that, I noticed there was a thing called the split body arts, and I thought it was like another cloning technique. But it turns out there's a Dragon Ball character who he's like a quintuplet, so he just has a lot of like people who look like him that are like his brothers or whatever. So it's not like the technique is making people think you have clones, but they're actually just like your brothers. So it's just kind of lame. Like a few of these special attacks are that special. Oh, it was cool to see your green necklace. Your green necklace is iconic, Ryan. I haven't seen it in a hot
Shut up.
minute. Let's see. Um, do you think the Strength Force, Ryan, might be the strongest force in DC Comics?
No.
Okay, why do you think it's not?
I mean the still force is clearly stronger. What's the point of being strong? You can't even like hit a guy because you're stop.
Well, remember, we had a whole talk about how in DC Comics, if you're strong enough, you can just like defy physics.
You break through.
Right.
Break through the slow.
Um, Something like this actually happens in Dragon Ball. There's a character called Hit who can manipulate time, And then there's this character Jiren, who it's still debated whether or not Jiren's like the strongest enemy they've ever fought. But Hit essentially was like, I'm stealing time from Jiren. So like time isn't moving for Jiren, but time's still moving for us. So Jiren shouldn't be able to move. And Jiren essentially just starts moving anyways, and the gods say Jiren is stronger than time. Like they say something along those lines. And it seems like DC isn't too far away from doing similar stuff, where it's just like Superboy Prime's so strong it just doesn't matter. So if we know that that's a thing in DC, where if you just hit a certain strength level, you can just start ignoring stuff that would otherwise just like kill you or completely immobilize you, then wouldn't the strength force be the best force? Like if you had complete mastery of the strength force, couldn't you be like, I increase my strength to such a degree to where like it doesn't matter what you do to me. I'm just like way stronger than you, you know? Like what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that could be possible.
Um the strength force actually seems like something that they should play with a little bit more. I do think it seems silly because they're trying to make like essentially a parallel to the speed force that's about getting stronger, but almost no one is known as like connecting to the strength force. Um, but I think someone who had strength force powers could potentially kill like Superman, you know? Like if you just keep tapping into the strength force and getting stronger, Superman is only weak to like a few things: magic, kryptonite, and people who are just stronger than him. Because Doomsday isn't like, oh, I'm like a kryptonite monster, and Doomsday isn't like, oh, I'm like a wizard. He's like, I'm just strong. I can go toe to toe with you, you know? Um,
Well, he goes toe to toe because he kills him.
True. Well, Superman also kills him. It's not necessarily toe. It seems like Superman was just fighting someone who I guess was like on his level. It makes you think that like Zod could kill Superman. You know?
I mean, yeah, you snap his neck.
Right. Because,
Like it seems like there's a lot of people who can go toe to toe and like beat each other up. Like throw punches and hands and stuff. I'm not sure all those characters like there's other characters who can but I could actually like beat them to death. Like Doomsday is like I could just fight him till he's exhausted and he just like can die. You
but
know.
it's interesting that they still kill each other because it makes it feel evenly matched.
Mhm.
Like it's not just that I'm strong.
Like you can have evenly matched, but then like they can't kill each other, or like they just are evenly matched in terms of like punching each other in the face, but like neither one takes like really serious damage, right?
Right?
And
I've
then you
seen
can have
something like
like
that before.
punching each other so that they're both like knocked out from like a fight kind of thing. And then you
Hmm.
can have equally matched where they both die like at the same time. So you can have like different types of like equally matched
But
depending on what you think.
what does that really mean though? Because if we're evenly matched, as in like we knock each other out, does that just mean neither of us were strong enough to kill the other person?
Right.
The
Like
most we could
like
have
you're
done?
strong enough to not like get killed by the other person, but you're also not strong enough to kill them in turn.
Okay.
So it's like a stalemate kind of thing.
I see where you're coming from. So the thing that makes Doomsday a threat is that he's evenly matched, but on the level of, but we'll both die, kind of thing.
Yeah, or you could die.
Now,
Just you. I could just kill Superman.
true, like if Superman is like a little off today, he could get the dick. Um, Another thing that makes Doomsday threatening is that his whole thing is like if he's died from something before, you can't kill him that way again. Like he always comes back kind of like immune to the last thing that you did. So if you like punch Doomsday to death, when he comes back, you can't do that anymore. You gotta find like a new way to kill him, kind of thing. So that's the other thing that kind of sets him above just someone like General Zod or something. That being said, the same way that Doomsday would kill Superman, though, is probably the same way that like Zod would kill Superman. Like it's not that Doomsday's immunities are the thing that like kills him. It's just the thing that lets him probably survive longer than like Zod would. Because Superman could just punch Zod to death, but he can't punch Doomsday to death again. You know?
Hmm.
Um, I'm still thinking about the Legion of Superheroes thing. I think if I got transported to like the DC multiverse or whatever, I think that magic world where anyone can use magic might be the best place to start because you essentially get a power just by being there. Like now you can learn magic. And it seems like magic is not something that's necessarily like range restricted. You know what I mean? Like if I wanted to interact with other characters in the DC multiverse, I could probably just learn a spell. And then it's like, okay, cool, the spell is letting me communicate like across the multiverse or whatever, like with the other people. Um, but I'm not sure if there's a better place I can think of to start. Would it like if you were sent into like the DC multiverse, where would you want to end up, Ryan?
Hmm. I think Earth 33.
So just here.
Because here is like safe from all of the other worlds getting destroyed. Because it never gets destroyed here.
That's not true. We've been destroyed multiple times. We just come back though.
Hmm.
Right now, Earth 33 technically is the only Earth in the 52 universe multiverse because they like merged the remaining Earths or whatever. Well, you know what, Ryan? It's interesting to say stuff like right now because we've talked about how there's like a time discrepancy between the different Earths or whatever. So we're reading a comic, and in the comic it says our world has been merged with a bunch of other worlds. And we're like, well, that's not happening right now. I don't see like Guy Gardner like flying around fighting like apex predators or whatever.
Hmm.
But then that could just be happening like not right now relative to our time. They could be saying later, like way after you're dead or something. That's when it happened for us, you know. But I don't think that adds up either. Because the Superboy Prime is from here. The Superboy Prime stuff, I think, is like rooted in the 1980s or whatever. Because his powers activate because he sees like Haley's Comet pass by or something. Like it's a very like dated thing. So we know that like real time for like what we see in the comics matches real time for like us as readers. So they can't really use the time discrepancy thing. So never mind, I guess, on that potential like explanation. Do you happen to have like I think did I ask you this yesterday if you had like a favorite version of like Batman? Or did I ask you about like Superman yesterday or something like that?
Hmm.
Do you have like a favorite Batman?
Um. Yeah, probably.
Um, I'm trying to think if I do. I mean, I agree with when you're like probably yeah, but I'm not sure.
The one from Batman Beyond. Old man.
Oh, like Bruce Wayne. Like when you said Batman Beyond, I thought you were talking about like Terry. Like you're like, oh, Terry is my favorite Batman, but you're like old.
Harry's pretty cool too.
I mean, Terry is pretty cool. Um, I don't know. I guess. Like a lot of times when I pick favorite characters, I normally try and pick people that I like know a lot about. Like if they've had like a series, I can say, well, like read all the stuff about that character. So someone can't be like, you like them even though they did like da na na na, and you go what, and then you read it and you're like, ah, oh, they ruined it at some point. You know what I mean? So,
Ah, no, they ruined his big dick. Whatever will we do?
oh no, Batman damned. Now I know Batman doesn't have a big dick. That ruined it. um, but I don't know if there's any Batman media. Well, that's not true. Christopher Nolan Batman. I've seen all that stuff. I've seen all the Joel Schumacher Batman. I've seen all the Tim Burton Batman. I guess for the movies, I can probably pick a favorite movie Batman a little bit easier. I even saw the Adam West movie, Batman, but I haven't seen the Adam West show in its entirety. I probably wouldn't count him in the running. But for live action movies, I liked Val Kilmer's performance as both Batman and Bruce Wayne. So in the past, I've said he's my favorite, like, movie Batman, like live action film Batman. Um, who would you say is your favorite, like, live action movie Batman?
Hmm. Well, I've only ever seen one Batman movie. No, yeah, one Batman movie in live action, and I've seen two live action Batmans in a movie.
So you've only seen like the Ben Affleck Batman and the uh, Christopher Nolan Batman?
Yeah, I've seen The Dark Knight once,
Hmm.
and I've seen Justice League like once.
So you can only really pick between those two, I guess. Uh,
Yeah, I've never really watched the older Batman movie.
so which like between those two, because they have one movie each, and neither is their first movie, so it seems fair to compare. Well, maybe not, because your Batman exposure is like minimal, because it's not like about Batman kind of thing. But still, I guess, which would you say is your favorite between the two?
Neither.
Neither. I'm not sure if
Hmm.
that's how like favorites work, but okay, that-
Hmm.
that's fine. Um, I would say that the Ben Affleck
I don't
Batman,
favor either of them.
but it's
So neither are my favorite. I don't favor either of them.
well favorite. Hold up, now I gotta look at like the
Favorite is just
definition.
the thing that you favor the most.
Yeah, but it's like the favor the most out of like that set. You know what I mean? Like it's not
That's that I favor zero things.
preferred before all
I
others
for
of the
last
same
place.
kind. They're tied for last. So you're like, I can't have a favorite if I don't like either one of them. So are you like I equally dislike both Batmen?
I don't know.
Because I feel like that's the only way that would work, right? If you're like I like one of them a little bit more because of like X, then it would be like oh,
I don't like
be
either of them a little bit more because of X.
okay. Um, I think the Ben Affleck Batman has one of like the coolest Batman action scenes that I've ever seen, but that has to do with the fact that like it's like the most modern one and they have like more they can just do more like special effects wise and with like fight choreography than we used to do in like the older Batman films. Like we now have bat suits where you can like actually move around and do stuff, which has been an issue for years. Um, so I imagine the next Batman movie might be able to like top the Ben Affleck action scene that's in Batman v Superman.
Think so? I mean, like, did
Robert Patterson.
did no the one before that?
Oh, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, did the Ben Affleck top the Nolan movie one?
I think so. So like the Nolan movie action at the time was awesome. Like it was really well done. But the Ben Affleck one, he goes hard. It kind of looks like gameplay from like a Batman Arkham game. Like the way that he like goes about like dispatching everybody and like moving around the room. It's very like free flowing, but it's also kind of ultra violent because this is a Batman who like kills people. So I'm not a big fan of Batman killing people, but I do
with my
think,
guns.
well, this is him killing people also just like with his fist and shit. Like just actually just murdering people while fighting kind of thing. Um, but
Because of the blood.
right. And also just the impact. Like even if they didn't bleed, you would just be like, "Oh, that guy hit a wall like too hard to survive." You know, like he would just die. Um, I still think that fight scene is like the best fight scene. I would say in Batman v Superman. It's just Batman fighting a bunch of normal guys in a warehouse.
That's what I hear.
It was really nice.
It's my people's favorite scene of that movie, probably.
Hmm. I mean, this is probably my favorite action scene of that movie. I don't know what would be my favorite like scene from Batman v Superman.
Scene. It's like
It's true. Scene
hanging
doesn't mean anything.
word.
I because there might be like a character moment or something that I like from the movie that's not coming to mind. Um, I guess if it's not coming to mind, but the Batman scene did come to mind, maybe that one just is the best one. I don't know. I haven't watched that movie in a hot minute. Um, I've seen Justice League maybe a couple times. I know I've seen it at least once in its entirety, but I think I've also like tried to rewatch it more than once, but maybe not finished it any of those times. So I don't know. Um, but a lot of the DCEU movies I haven't watched on multiple occasions, but I don't think they're necessarily bad. Well, that's a lie. Suicide Squad. I've watched Suicide Squad multiple times, which people say they really dislike that one. I actually don't think it's as bad as a lot of people say it is. I don't know what people expected out of Suicide Squad. They're like a
Expected a better movie.
well, they're like a B team or whatever. Guardians of the Galaxy ended up being really good, and it's like a like B team that you like never heard of or whatever.
No. Thor's there. How is it a B team?
Thor's there now. Thor wasn't on the Guardians of the Galaxy before. Um. Oh, also, I'll be right back, Ryan. I gotta pee. I gotta urinate. Can you entertain the populace while I am gone?
No,
Okay.
I can take a nap now.
Did you say you're gonna take a nap?
No,
What did you say? Let's see.
you should go pee.
I should go pee. I'm trying to see if I can set up something that would be like entertainment while I'm gone. I'll be right back. Intermission. There's like a Taco Bell nacho pack ad.
A nacho pack.
Yeah, they have like a big nacho pack or whatever. So intermission.
Aren't you a can or something?
Oh, what? I missed the last thing you said.
I said, weren't you gonna go pee or something?
I'm gonna go pee
Go
now. This is the intermission music.
do that. Now the Jets gone. What should we talk about, fam? Uh, let's see. Well, it sounds like the Armenian and Azerbaijan states are going to war again. That's a bummer. Like the people of the Republic of Artsakh? Not sure what pronounce. They should be in, I guess. That would be cool. Azerbaijan's not going to give up that territory, though.
I used Germex so I could quickly get back to the stream while still being hygienically clean.
Germ X.
Okay, so back. I heard you say something about like Armenian or whatever. My bathroom isn't that far away, so I could kind of still hear you a little bit, I guess. I heard you say something Armenian, and then you were like, "That sucks," but I missed what the topic was.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So we were talking about multiverse stuff. Um,
No, we were talking about Batman movies.
we were talking about Batman. Well, what's the difference? Everything exists in the DC multiverse somewhere.
We weren't talking about all of that shit.
Mm,
We were just talking about Batman movies.
is there anything that you can talk about that's DC related that's not multiverse related? See what I mean?
Are the things that aren't canon before, are they still not canon,
What is
like anywhere?
like imaginary stories or something?
No, it's not like the Dark Knight Returns, where it's like not canon, right?
Dark Knight Returns is like its own universe.
It is.
Every story and every like video game,
Every issue of
every
every
TV show.
book, yes,
It's
has its
not
own
every
universe.
issue of every book. You got me fucked up every time you say that. Because multiple issues can just take place in the same universe, and that's kind of how it works.
You can assume that if you want.
But it just is though. The every issue thing has never been a thing. Well, I'm double checking to see if it's ever been a thing. Because I'm thinking hyper time might allow for the every issue concept, maybe, but I don't think it does. So I'm like re looking at it now. Sadly, I'm looking at the Wikipedia thing instead of the video where Grant Morrison talks about it. But I imagine the Wikipedia thing probably isn't too different from the Grant Morrison speech. The idea described in Kingdom Number Two is the vast interconnected web of parallel timelines which comprise all reality. Let's see. Through Hypertime, Wade sought to resolve the contradictions in DC's continuity once and for all, which is what they try to do with everything that they do to continuity. But it still kind of just messes everything up. Let's see. Do 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 do. I'm trying to see if I can find like because Grant Morrison does describe it on the level of like so Hypertime describes like what comics are and the relationship between different stories, but it also describes like our relationship with comics as we're like observers of their world from like a higher plane, and that's why they look two-dimensional and why we can see every moment of their time at once because we can see all the panels on a page where they see it like sequentially. And then Grant Morrison uses hypertime to be like, and there are higher gods than us who look at us the way we look at comic books. Like he has like a whole like setup thing. And the Wikipedia page I don't think goes as in depth as like the Grant Morrison speech. But I need to re-listen to that Grant Morrison speech for I guess the next episode of the podcast. Because you might have something going there, but I don't know. Um, are you still there, Ryan?
Yeah.
Because now you're quiet and the screen's blacked out. So how do I know? Let's see. Uh,
Here, I'll move your face out the way. Because your face, like if I have the window which has your face, this is what it looks like.
oh,
If
because
I
there's
move it
not
out the
enough
way,
light coming
this is
through the
what,
camera.
yeah, your screen is dark.
Oh, hold on. I
I,
might be able to fix that. You know, before when I turned on the big light, it was like you guys can't see me because there's not enough like light coming through because all the light's behind me. I have light
now,
in
now
front
you
of
can
me
see me
and
just looking at
behind
your
me.
screen.
Kind of see you. I mean, you got there. Ah, da, 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 da. I can see you more. So this is probably the most ideal light setup. I do have a little bit of lens flare. Do my own J.J. Abrams or whatever, but that's okay. Let's see. So hypertime is supposed to explain all continuity issues. Maybe that's why we rarely hear about Johnny DC Continuity Cop. Because maybe there aren't any more continuity cop cases. Because you can just say, oh, it's hypertime. All the different timelines are interacting. That's why continuity is weird. Hypertime. You can just hand wave it. Um, but I wish they did that. Like the issue is that DC can pretty much explain anything they want with all their different explanations that they've like accrued over time, but they're just never direct about the explanations. Like instead of being like, this isn't the way that it should be, why is it? Oh, hyper time. It's just, it isn't the way that it should be. Shh. Like we're just not gonna talk about it, kind of thing. And that's what kind of makes it like more confusing, especially when you have all these, they're not necessarily like conflicting explanations of like how continuity should be, but more just too many explanations where it gets confusing to think about the fact that like all of them exist at the same time. You know? Right.
What?
Are you sleepy?
No. I mean, yes, but no. Yes, both.
Um, are you good for the podcast? Or are you like, let's do this like later when I'm less sleepy?
You can, but I'm gonna have to go at least midnight.
That's fair. Yeah, I totally get that. You got work. A matter of fact, yeah, since you have work tomorrow, when would be a good cutoff time for you? Because it should be built more around your schedule. Because I don't work on Saturdays. I don't have that issue.
Mm. How about now?
How about now? Okay, that's fair. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 4 of the Two Guys Talking podcast. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding, 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 ring the notification bell to be notified whenever we do these videos. It's your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with
Asleep.
logging out. Peace, guys. Chicka da gal.